today I'm going to be speaking about variable fonts. Basically, one font file, many possibilities. It's a modern web typography technology. It allows a single font file to contain multiple styles, weights, and as well as widths. Variable fonts help us improve performance, simplify our design, and provide more flexibility than traditional fonts. So, how are they different? What really, let's dive into what really variable fonts are. So traditional fonts, there's separate files for each font, each style. There's also regular, bold, light, italic, all that stuff. But variable fonts just have one file and multiple adjustable styles. So, for example, you could say font weight 300, font weight 700 using the same font file. Normally, websites have to separate font files for every weight and style that they use. Example would be like a site would load one file for regular text and then another one for the bold text and then yet another file for like light text or another one for like italics. But variable fonts combine all of those into just a single file. So that helps you save space and just optimize things even more. So how it works. Font axes. Font axes include weight, thickness, width, slant, and the size. So variable fonts use something called axes. An axis is a simple property that can change. The most common axis is weight. Instead of being limited to a few predefined options, designers can choose any value within a range. So here's an example for that. Oh, that would just make the font weight a little heavier, which is basically just like thickness and bigness. So some of the benefits of that, you'd have fewer files instead of having to have all of those. Just to display those 4 different ones, you only have to have that. So once again, like we kind of brought up earlier, this just helps it with managing and optimization. It's way simpler. There's just less stuff on there, as well as fewer requests from the computer to the website, and it's easier maintenance to take care of all that stuff. One of the biggest advantages to using variable font is to reduce the number of files a website needs to load. It just makes projects easier to maintain and reduces the complexity for developers. Another thing with performance advantages, they can reduce, if we're getting into the nitty gritty of it, they can reduce the HTTP requests, improve your load times on your page, and it just makes the user experience better, especially if you're a developer looking through the code. It's a lot easier to look at only one thing versus 5 to 20 different ones. A big reason that people use this is because optimization. You don't want to slow down your website. People leave slow websites. If your website's not good, not fast enough, they're out of there. So you want it to look stylized and interesting and fun while still maintaining the best load times and optimizing everything. So faster sites also rank better in search engines. So it's, once again, just really important to improve your performance in a website. So having fewer things that it has to load means that your website's faster. Real world usages. Many modern websites actually use the variable font. Google fonts, news websites, e-commerce, mobile applications, they all use that. So For an example, a shopping website might use weight 400 for descriptions, weight 600 for prices, weight 800 for promotions, all from one font file. Wow, so simple. They're just increasingly common nowadays because they allow people to just be consistent in their branding and allows the designers to have the flexibility. Website can just use many different font styles without downloading all the different files. Here's just an example of what like the CSS might look like if you're actually putting it into your stuff. So you'd have your body, you'd have your actual font, and then you put the weight in there, and then from there, boom, you just have your header. It just shows it really how easy those fonts are able to use. Just adjust the font weight from the same file instead of loading a completely different font. So some challenges though that exist, because we've kind of talked already to death about some advantages of it, but it is a slightly larger single file, and some older browsers may not support it as well as newer ones, and design options can increase complexity. But just like with any technology though, they have some trade-offs, but it's supported pretty much everywhere. You're not really going to find anyone who has modern stuff that it wouldn't work on. And so you just got to make sure, once again, consider your demographic and just make sure that your compatibility and consistency works with that. So overall, the main idea for it all is it's really simple. Instead of using a bunch of different font files, using variable font lets us just load one font file, and then you can just make it flexible from there. That improves your performance. It allows the developers to have more customization over that and help simplify the development and creativity of the website. So use it. It's good.